Welcome to the Neon Noise Podcast, your home for learning ways to attract more traffic to your website, generate more leads, convert more leads into customers, and build stronger relationships with your customers. And now, your hosts, Justin Johnson and Ken Franzen.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 13, lucky number 13, Ken, of the Neon Noise Podcast, where we talk about topics that will help you decode marketing and sales. Hey, Ken, how is everything with you today?
Things are going great. Thank you, sir. How about yourself?
Things are going fabulous. Something that we haven't talked about or touched on yet is marketing budgets. And, I think a lot of companies that we talk to, they have budgets. A lot of companies don't. So maybe we can dive in and answer some questions on the topic today. When I think of marketing for my business and budgets, I think of two main resources. What do you think of, Ken?
Two main resources when marketing a business. You have time or you have money.
Ding, ding, ding. Ken Franzen is the winner. Time and money. So, really that's it, and there's no easy way around it. There's no little magical marketing pills that we can create a hands-free marketing system that requires zero time and costs us nothing, right? So
we haven't found those yet. So
no, man,
believe you me, they will be for sale.
I am going to send you some of those if I do find them. If anybody else can find them, shoot them our way, because I would love to have one of those. But no, really, you can save a lot of money by doing stuff yourself. If you're like most of us entrepreneurs, time is something that you simply do not have, and it's an extremely valuable resource. I personally have no time. I have what seems like 58 kids, and they require every last little bit of my time on a daily basis. Ken is kind of in the same boat. So, what it boils down to is, likely you have to figure out a way to establish a marketing budget and, have some type of a specific plan on how to maximize a return on this budget. So, what I thought about today, we could dive into a couple different topics on marketing budgets, and specifically those would be one, how we see a lot of businesses approach marketing. Two, how much money, according to the experts, should we spend on marketing? Three, how you go about creating a marketing budget, and four, what you do if you have no money to spend on marketing. I think that There's quite a few people that we talk to that do not have any money. Ken, what do you see most businesses and with how they approach marketing? What have you experienced?
Well, and this I think is an important item to touch on, because budget is so precious. When you establish a budget and you have, or you don't have a budget, but you end up finding some funds, you have a good month or a good quarter, and you want to get some money to spend. Put some money towards marketing.
Right.
Then we see the same thing happen over and over again. So let's take a look at an ideal world. In an ideal world, perfect scenario, we live in a vacuum. You would have already had set a marketing budget, and it'd be coupled with a defined marketing plan or strategy.
Okay, that sounds perfect.
Yep, exactly. So far, so good. You know exactly what works and what doesn't work.
Right.
You know that if you were to invest, say, $500 into a specific campaign, or just invest $500 period, you know what to expect to see in a return for customer sales with a decent amount of accuracy. So you can make some projections there because you know your numbers.
Right.
And when you notice something doesn't work particularly well,
change it.
They're underperforming, you can change it. But when you find areas that work particularly well, you can increase your investment there. So that's the ideal world. Now, we don't live in an ideal world.
You make it sound so easy.
If it was only that easy.
Right.
So the fact is, most businesses, and if you're listening to this, you saying to yourself, well, that's not me. I'm not in the ideal world. That's
right.
You're in
I don't have a defined marketing budget.
Exactly. They don't, nor do they have a defined marketing plan or strategy.
Right.
What oftentimes happens is a business will try a particular strategy based on maybe what they see another business doing or a pitch they get from the local media rep. Let's say that we all get those phone calls from someone pretending to be from Google saying they can get us on page one.
I've never gotten those calls.
No, of course not. Maybe it's something they read in a blog post or a webinar that they attend. These are all really good tactics that can be used to get your business in front of your buyer persona. But too many times it's done without an overall strategy in place. So the limits of the overall effectiveness of these efforts,
right,
they're not as it's just not there. And so these individual tactics are acting independently,
right,
where if they were acting in conjunction with other tactics that would compose a total solution, you'd see better results.
So that makes perfect sense. You know, it's kind of like starting some traditional campaign, maybe like a TV or radio commercial to promote your business, right?
Sure. There's a perfect example, right? Both of our wives are in the TV industry.
Dude. Okay. I'm going to stop you right there. I just want to make note that Ken is bringing our wives into this. So anything that he says, it's 100% on him.
I'll take all the heat that the girls can deliver. So both of our wives are in the TV industry. They're particularly in the sales side of things. So they sell TV commercials to businesses, which is a fantastic tool for getting your business out there in front of a ton of eyeballs. But what happens a lot, you see, in the feedback we get from businesses that say, I tried TV. So much time is spent producing an awesome commercial, whether it's a 60-second spot, a 30-second spot. They have production crews that are great. They produce nice quality commercials. They tell the business's story, this call to action, whatever it might be.
Right.
And they work with the business and identifying what the target demographic is they're shooting for, that buyer persona, and they choose the programming that would best position them in front of that proper demographic or buyer persona.
Right.
So this tactic worked awesome 20 years ago.
I can see where you're going with this.
Before the internet, before smartphones, before we all had all the information at the end of our fingertips at all points in time. So what could be a better solution here? I would say use that TV commercial. So bringing myself back to maybe a safe zone with the girls.
What about like a landing page or dropping them someplace that they can continue to market to them?
That's it. The shelf life of that TV commercial is 30, 60 seconds. It comes, it goes.
Yep.
So when we talk about where different consumers are in the buyer's journey, if you're saying call us today to get our product and service, if they're they're that small percentage, same percentage of people filling out forms on your website, you're not going to connect with them. But however, if you direct them towards call to action, more information, download our guide to learning how to do XYZ.
Yeah.
Go to this URL, your website / guide, and have them download that guide as a top of funnel offer. That's super, super, super handy to continue leveraging that spot that you purchased. So you're, with the bottom of funnel offer where you're only saying call us today, you're only reaching really that small percentage that's in the decision stage, where as if you were to work in conjunction with a landing page or try to get both those groups of people, get those top of funnel people watching that TV commercial into an email workflow.
Right.
Obviously this works differently. I mean, if you're a pizza place advertising, you're not going to have an email workflow. You could, I guess. I mean,
but I mean, it doesn't just, this isn't just applying to TV. This is more along the lines of, I mean, you're talking about, TV TV, radio, paid search, billboard, everything like that, right?
Yeah, Facebook. I mean, this doesn't just apply to traditional media that we sometimes catch ourselves bashing a little bit. Facebook ads, paid search, you name it. I mean, an individual tactic that stands alone is not as strong as when you combine two together.
Function with something else. Yep.
Exactly. I just pick on TV because our wives are in the biz,
right?
we can find out how long they take before they listen to this episode of the podcast, right?
I love it. Good
so,
stuff.
But what we hear though, we go out and we talk to businesses. They're like, I tried Facebook ads, it didn't work.
Yeah, but what did you tie that into? Was it
exactly what they did?
Kind of trial.
They one and done. They hit it and quit it type setup where they tried it for a short period of time. There wasn't much plan and strategy behind it.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't drive it through a system or a funnel or anything else. They threw some money at it and they didn't see a return, even though they likely couldn't measure the effectiveness of that return because they didn't have tools of measurement in place.
Right.
So you really, stop firing shots in the dark from the hip, right?
Yep.
Create a defined marketing plan or strategy and couple it with a marketing budget, and you'll be amazed how those results can really change.
Good stuff. Love it. So now that we've talked a little bit about, what businesses are doing, let's chat, how much money should I spend on my marketing budget? What should I budget?
Well, we've heard that 10% is the average. You should be spending 10% of gross revenue on your marketing. I've heard that number.
I hear that a lot. I get that a lot.
I don't know if that's from the 60s or that's today's stuff because it's one of those legends. That's the magical number.
What's the number? It's 10%.
Right. So I did some digging around, found a couple resources. I'll drop the links to those in the show notes. But one particular resource I found, it seemed to make a lot of sense. And what they were talking about was how long you've been in business should have some dictation of how much you should spend of your gross revenue.
Okay, cool.
On marketing. So if you're a business that's 0 to 1 years, so you're just getting started.
You're getting fresh. You got to get your brand out there, get your name out there. You got to do a little bit more probably than somebody that's been in business longer, right?
That's what you'd think. But the recommendation was actually that you wait until you get a year under your belt because a lot of it's going to be the hustle and getting the business going.
Yeah, good point.
And ramping up, how much I mean, if you're a startup and you have investors
money, right?
Then this conversation's different. You're likely, if you have investors, you obtain those investors because you had this defined marketing plan with a budget and the investment. So we're speaking of non-invested startups or non-funded startups. You're going to be like we were the first year. You're out there banging doors and doing networking meetings and hustling your butt off. Not that we don't do that anymore, but you're just doing that primarily. But you have
do that. Right.
Yes, you don't have a budget, but you have time to do that. You don't have the work yet, and you're building up
58 kids. Then, man,
yeah. If
it was a lot easier back then.
Speaking truth, right there with the 58 kids. So any TV show producers that's watching this and wants the next great reality show, go to the Johnson's house. You'll have a fun-filled time with Sam and Justin plus 58, right?
I'm thinking about looking at getting a new bus for the family pretty soon. So
beautiful.
We'll all be able to get around.
Awesome. So if you are you're beyond that year one, you've kind of gotten your legs underneath you, and you're now established and have work and some budget, some revenue and things along those lines. What they're recommended is somewhere between 12 and 20% of gross revenue.
Really? Okay.
And this is because you're still growing, you're still new. You need to be a little bit more aggressive on the marketing end. You don't have that word of mouth maybe that's coming through. You don't have maybe an established brand. You don't have a lot of content built up on your website that's getting you some blog posts that might be evergreen and ranking well, that's giving you that repeat traffic coming through and over again. So they're recommending 12 to 20% of gross revenue.
That makes sense.
And then beyond 5+ years, what they're saying is anywhere from 6 to 12, which kind of hits that 10% mark. And so 6% might be for, a lean approach.
Yeah.
where 12% might be a little bit more of an aggressive approach. And we can all say that those that have been in business for 5+ years, at different years, you want to grow, and sometimes that growth is steady, and even sometimes it's a bit of a roller coaster ride. From one year's better than the next, and so you make adjustments. But ultimately, you're mindful that the revenue, your gross revenue, a portion of that needs to be or should be devoted towards funding a marketing strategy.
Right. Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
The next question that comes to mind when I'm thinking about marketing, my marketing budget is just, how do I, if I'm a new company, or if I'm just figuring out that I want to start creating this marketing budget, where do I start? Just, do I start with goals? Do I start with how much I can spend? What are the first steps?
Well, the first step is really, you hit it right on the nail on the head there with goals. You want to figure out what it is you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish, where you're trying to get. If you're looking at saying, okay, I would like to grow 15% this next year, or my goals are to increase the value of my current customer base by upselling them.
Mm-hmm.
Different
now,
ideals
is it
there.
Yearly, or, should it be more of a, hey, I want to have this set over 3 months or 6 months, or, is it beneficial to do it over 12 months?
That's a great question. And I think that's specific to individual businesses based on how they're set up. I know that I would look at a business that is non-seasonal and that has some relatively identifiable spending trends, accounting established, that you can actually look at, and you have a budget that you could create and say, okay, I can predict with some degree of accuracy that I'm going to do 1.2 million in sales this year. Mm-hmm. And I can devote, I can't devote the 10%, the 120,000, which would be 10 grand a month. But what I can devote is I can devote half that. I can devote 5,000 a month. So I can hit the 5% mark. Right. And, I feel fairly comfortable. Now, if you're looking at a seasonal business, let's say it's a landscape, mm-hmm. snowplow business. Landscapers everywhere. And so it's Friday, man. I need to, I'm ready for the weekend.
I think that what we're going to do is, if we're going to do the Friday podcast from now on, we need to have beers while we're doing it.
Hey, I'm down for a podcast cocktail at any point in time. That sounds fantastic.
All right, so back to landscapers. Let's get at
landscapers. Exactly. They're a seasonal business, so they likely. I know a lot of great landscapers. They plan well. They know that the money they're making during the summer months, and I speak from Toledo, Ohio, right now, where Justin's in Orlando, Florida. So our seasonality is a lot different. You pretty much have lawn crews working year round, where here in the Midwest, the northern Midwest, they're pretty active. We won't start cutting grass here until April at the earliest. And so they're conscious, many of them are conscious that the money they make from April through when the grass stops growing in, let's say, October, is got to keep them going November through March. Yep. Now, what they often do is they supplement with snowplowing service. And there's lots of great money in snowplowing when and if it snows, but that's something that they cannot control, and it's very weather dependent on both sides. So with a business like that, you might look at, and you also have to consider the consuming habits, what your marketing strategy is. If it's a lot of paid search, Facebook, paid ads, newspaper ads, things along those lines, you're not going to be advertising your lawn care business for outdoor yard maintenance packages. Sure. In the middle of December, you might be advertising snow plowing if it's snowy, but you really aren't trying to capture that interest because the interest isn't out there. So to answer your question, I think it depends on the type of business that you're in. I think that what we oftentimes do is if we get into the act of roller coaster marketing, where we say, oh crap, we need leads. it's kind of dead around here. I need to get some leads generated to close some sales.
Shouldn't be doing that, right?
To be busy. And then what happens is you do a lot of marketing efforts, you get really busy,
right.
and then you stop,
don't need it anymore.
Then you stop doing the marketing because you don't need it.
I don't want any leads anymore.
Sure.
Let's put them on pause.
And then all of a sudden you get through that batch of work, and then you're right back to it's dead around here again.
Yeah. So, I mean,
the year-round budget helps alleviate that roller coaster. You got a constant flow of leads, and it helps you have some predictability to everything.
Awesome. All right. So that covers goals, right? Determine our goals. How about identifying, how much I should spend?
Yeah, that's, we kind of covered that briefly in the last topic of, how much should you spend? Can you do the 10%? Can you do the 6%? Can you do the 5%?
I'm talking about if I don't have anything at all to start off.
If you don't have anything, a budget at all to start off with, and this is a common question we get a lot. What do you do if you're in a situation where you need more traffic, you need more leads to grow your business, but you just don't have the monetary resources to do so? The real question I think you ask is, what happens if you don't come up with a marketing budget?
Good point.
Each new customer that you bring into your business should have some sort of marketing acquisition cost. How much you are willing to pay to bring a new customer to the door. Now, if you don't, start thinking that way a little bit. And if your margins are super tight, see what you can do about either raising your rates a little bit, which oftentimes is easier than everyone thinks it is, or cutting costs. But in other words,
is there a formula or anything that I could use to try to help figure that out?
Yeah. So let's just say, think about this for a quick second. How much money would you pay me today? So if I said Bob's Lawn Care Service, and I said, hey Bob, if I walked up to your front door of your office, knocked on it, opened it up, and I had another person with me, and I said, Jim here wants to buy landscaping services. Sure. How much money would you give me? What if I had 5 gyms, right?
5 gyms. Okay. So
whatever that number
depends on what they're buying, I guess.
Exactly. So for the sake of argument, let's just say that this number, and I know that for landscaping, I think the margins are a little bit better than $200, but let's just say that this is $1,000 is the value of those 5 customers.
Okay, cool.
So that's $200. Yeah.
I would probably give you, I don't know, maybe $100, $150 if I'm nice.
If you're nice, if you're generous. All right. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much for the generosity. So I'm going to use 200 just so we can do round numbers in my brain, because I think we established it's Friday and I had a cocktail. So $200 per customer. You work the math backwards. So what we're trying to do is say, all right, for starts, how much is a new customer worth to our business? And we've established that $200. So going backwards, use your close rate.
Right.
How many leads does it take you to close one customer?
Right.
So if you need 5 leads to close one customer, your close rate is 10%.
Sure.
So in this case, to get 5 customers, you would need 50 leads.
Right.
All right. So this means overall that you'd be spending about $20 per lead.
Not bad.
Not bad. I think that's fairly doable.
Yeah.
In some industries, it might be more, but those industries, I think that customer value is much higher.
So what are some ideas and ways to get those leads for less than $20?
Well, that's what the strategy comes into play. Right. What can we do to generate these $20 leads? Can we launch a paid search campaign where, let's say, the average cost per click is $4 and we can convert 20% of those clicks? Okay. That would give us a $20 lead. All right. Yeah. So that's how you would go about creating a budget out of nothing. And that math, the reason why I presented that mathematical equation is to get the thinking about that customer that that marketing acquisition cost for each customer, because then you start looking at it as an investment and you start working backwards and quickly identifying how to assign a value to the lead, or what activities, and you break it down. Now, as I mentioned before, you can invest time or you can invest money. If you have the time to go out and work networking events, trade shows,
do it.
You can make connections on LinkedIn. Yeah, go for it. It's worth it. If you have money to market it, and you have that time, let's say you have a well-established well-oiled machine, and we have one person here devoted to, or 5 people devoted to sales, and that's what they're going to do it, because that's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the time to do that, then you're really gonna have to do whatever is necessary to find these monetary resources that you can invest into a marketing plan. So when push comes to shove, really, it's amazing where we can find ways to cut expenses or create funds for a marketing budget. And oftentimes you look at just simply stopping the marketing activities that you're currently doing that aren't working, or maybe that it might be that Yellow Page campaign that you're really terrified about cutting the cord with and saying, oh my gosh, I've had these have been my ads for 15 years and they're not as performing as well as they used to, but I want to keep them because I have seniority.
That, though,
well, I mean, they got some ads have call tracking numbers, and others it's just your internal measurements of, hey, how did you hear about this? But my little secret insight on the Yellow Pages is,
you got something against Yellow Pages and TV. I don't know what it is, man.
No, there's nothing personal.
It's Yellow Pages because you used to work there.
Yeah, I used to work at Yellow Pages
because our wives are tied to it, right?
I guess it's probably conversation. I
don't know, man.
Pop up more.
There's something there.
It's more debatable items than anything personally.
If you talk to Ken, he's cutting your TV and he's cutting your Yellow Pages. That's where he's taking that marketing budget and applying it to us, right?
That's highly likely, yes. But my theory in Yellow Pages is this: I think that over the years, and I know over the years the books are getting smaller and smaller. They ripped out the white pages. And I have a sneaky theory. I haven't had a client that would really let me pull the trigger on this, but I think that book from like 5 years ago, that's bigger, that has more of the ads in there. That book's being held on to. Those that still like to let their fingers do the walking, those that still use. There's a big group out there that still does use the Yellow Pages. They're hanging on to those older books, and your ad's already in that older book. So when the new ones come, and there are these mini versions with less options and everything else, people are like, throw that one in the trash. I got the big dog over there.
10% of what the big dog is, right?
Exactly, right. So my thought, a little side note here, I think that that 2011 phone book that you have sitting there that your ad is in has a better shelf life than the ads that you're about to advertise in.
You don't have to. Everybody's using the giant book from 11. That's a good point.
Right. Exactly. So I just open up the Pandora's box and all the Yellow Page people out there to start bashing.
We're going to get all kinds of phone calls. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Yellow Pages.
That would be awesome. It'd be fun to talk about. So, that second step of creating a marketing budget is really, identifying how much money you can devote towards the marketing.
Okay.
Once you have that number, the next step is then the third step, developing a strategy that's in line with these marketing goals and budgets. So what's your game plan? Are you trying to get more traffic to your website and you need to get in front of new eyeballs? Mm-hmm. Then you can do that TV campaign with the landing page, do Facebook ads, you invest heavily in content creation, do link building to up your SEO game. If you want to increase the value of your current customers, then you go hard and heavy in creating some new products that you could sell to your customers, communicate those customers, maybe with an email marketing program or some funnels there that you could really, some drip campaigns that you could really get this new ideas or maybe some research and finding out what your current customer base is, and you do some surveying and things along those lines. So whatever those goals are, you look at some different tactics individually that can work together in the form of a strategy, and you develop that strategy.
Okay, so I got my goals, I got my budget, I've got my ideas, I've got my strategy. When do I start to actually go about putting that in place?
That's just it. You implement that strategy, whatever your overall marketing plan strategy calls for. If it's a seasonal business, then you hit those months that you want to hit.
Right.
If it's going to be a very similar, even approach month after month, then you begin that right away.
Okay.
The one thing I can't stress enough is measure results. Put yourself in a position where you can measure how effective everything is working.
Right.
And don't rely on the customer telling you where they found you.
Interesting.
So we have a lot of times where there might be, I don't say don't do this, but that's, you're relying on the customer to recall.
Mm-hmm.
And they might have seen you 3 different spots. They might have seen your TV ad, hit your website, and then got an email from you. Well, the email's probably going to be the most fresh
email. They only tell you about the TV commercial or whatever it is, right?
It's likely going to be whatever's the last point in contact that really set that trigger, but it takes away from the value of the TV commercial. So if you're like, oh, I got your email, then you're like, oh man, TV's not working. When in fact, TV's working well because that was how you got them into your universe. Exactly.
Right.
So how do you measure television? That's a tough one, right?
Yeah.
I would put a unique URL in your TV ad.
Yeah.
And then you can look at the traffic of that landing page
going to that particular page. Yeah, good point.
Exactly. And if you have, if you're advertising on several different stations, use a unique URL for each station so that you can then understand that.
Well, and that's going to allow you to make adjustments and everything moving forward for the campaign too, right?
Exactly. And that would be the last step. You look at your metrics and say, okay, what's working great? Mm-hmm. What's overperforming? What's underperforming? Obviously take funds from the things that you can clearly identify are underperforming and put those towards the things that are performing well. So, I mean, creating a marketing budget really formulates it. Those are the general steps.
Yeah.
Obviously we get into a lot more detail with each of those steps has a lot of added detail, but in general, that's how you go about really figuring out how to put all that into place.
Good stuff today. All right. So we've covered pretty much everything that we wanted to chat about, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Well, that is a wrap for today. We want to thank everybody for listening to our conversation about marketing budgets. Be sure to check out the show notes at neongoldfish.com/podcast. Before we go, I just wanted to thank everyone for all the support that we have received on the podcast. If you guys like anything that's going on here, leave us a review on iTunes, Google Play, or, whatever platform it is that you guys are listening on, and tell anyone else that you think might find our conversations about marketing and sales helpful to their businesses about the Neon Noise podcast. It would be gratefully appreciated.
Yes.
Or if you have an idea for a topic or a guest that you think would be great to have on the show, or feedback or anything to make the show better, please shoot us a message through Twitter at Neon Goldfish, or send us a message through neongoldfish.com website. Y'all have a great day today, and we will be back next week.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Neon Noise Podcast. Did you enjoy the podcast? If so, please subscribe, share with a friend, or write a review. We want to cover the topics you want to hear. If you have an idea for a topic you'd like Justin and Ken to cover, connect with us on Twitter at Neon Goldfish or through our website at neongoldfish.com.